guys, it's Amber from Amber Eats Books, and I'm here today to do the coffee book tag. I was kindly tagged by Dee over at Books and Quirks, and I will leave her video as well as the original creator, Bangity Bang's videos down below so you can go ahead and check those out. I personally don't drink coffee. I am a tea drinker, and I just made another video prior to this, same clothes, and I was drinking tea in that video, but I decided to show you a different mug that I had. I got this one from Epcot in Walt Disney World, and I got it in France, or that's why it says Paris on it, and it's got Pluto and Minnie and Mickey. So this is another one of my favorite mugs, probably this mug, and since I have the other one still handy, and this Tinkerbell mug that says mornings aren't magical. These are probably two of my all-time favorite mugs. Question number 1 is black. Name a series that is tough to get into but has hardcore fans. And I know I've used this book before. I use some of my books over and over and over again, but I'm sorry, it just was perfect. The Dark Tower by Stephen King. And I thought of this one immediately because the first book in this series is called The Gunslinger, and it is the hardest book to get through for many people. When I read this series for the first time, I think I was 18. Yeah, I was probably 18, and The Gunslinger was so tough for me. It was so hard to get through, but I just reread it this year. I'm now 31. I'm going to be 32 because my birthday is this month. At 31, I reread The Gunslinger, and it was now maybe one of my favorite books of the series. So I think maybe it just has to do a little bit with maturity and your taste as a reader. My tastes have obviously changed since I was 18 years old. So all of those books that I have read since then have really just enhanced my reading ability and given me different perspectives. And for some reason, The Gunslinger now just clicks with me so much better than it did back then. But yeah, this is definitely a tough series for a lot of people to get into. But once you get into it, people are just diehard fans. They love this book, love this series, and they talk about them all the time, which, as you can tell, I do. Question number 2 is Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the winter or a festive time of year. And that would definitely have to be A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This always gets popular in the month of December. It is a easy read for a lot of people, just easy go-to read, I should say, for a lot of people because it has Christmas right in the title. So what is more Christmas to a lot of people than A Christmas Carol? Question number 3, hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? Now I have many. I have so many. I have favorite children's books that now that I've read with my children are some of my favorites, such as Elephant and Piggy series by Mo Willems, one of my absolute favorites. But for me, one of my favorite books as a child, probably, around the ages of 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, was Matilda by Roald Dahl. I love this book. I absolutely adore the movie. I couldn't get enough of it. I considered myself to be like Matilda. I wanted to have powers like Matilda. So this was just one of my favorite children's books growing up. Question number 4, double shot of espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat start to finish. And for me, one of those books was The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty. Now, these books are not action-packed so much. What it is most of her books you find out that there was this big event or something happened or whatever. You find that out more towards the beginning of the book, and as you go through the book, you're putting together these sequences of events to kind of find out what that big secret was. And this book just twists and turns, and the ending did not see it coming, so I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I think I flew through this in like 2 days. It was amazing. So love her books, highly recommend it. Question number 5, Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. Now, as of right now, there are 3 books that I've seen either people are reading, people have been talking about reading, people are dying to get their hands on. And one of those books is Empire Storms. The other book is Crooked Kingdom. And the last book, most people have read, but are now talking about it again because the movie came out, and that was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. The movie, I think, just is being released today, which is Friday the 30th. And people have been talking about this. I've seen many videos on it, and this book just seems to be everywhere at the moment. Question number 6. That hipster coffee shop. Give a book by an indie author a shout out. Now, I looked through my bookshelves and I realized I probably don't read a lot of books by indie authors. So if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them down below, because I'm always trying to find new authors, and I would love to support some indie authors. I probably have read a few, I'm just not aware of them. So I don't know, but I did look up a list of like the top 10 famous indie authors, and at the number 1 spot, which I was surprised to find out, was Beatrix Potter, if I could say that name today. Beatrix Potter. I did not know that her first story was rejected everywhere, and she actually self-published it, and then after it gained a little notoriety was offered a publishing contract. So I did not know that, and I love her books. I've always loved them. This could also have made it into one of my favorite children's books of all time, because I loved Peter Rabbit. It was one of my favorites, and I used to get the little the little tiny books that they had printed from my school library on the regular, like all the time. My kids even know that I got them because we talk about it so much. So my youngest will bring them home from time to time for us to read. And I actually just picked this one up a couple days ago for $2. No, actually it was $1 because it was half price. So I was excited to get that, and I was excited to find out that she was at one point an indie author. Question number 7. Oops, I accidentally got decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. I just DNF'd this book yesterday, and that was All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. I have heard such great things about his writing, so I was ecstatic to pick this book up. When I did, however, the writing style and his lack of punctuation really annoyed me, so I DNF'd it after 40 pages, and you can find out more about that in my wrap-up from this past week, but it was just not for me. I expected so much more, especially it being a National Book Award winner. I just could not get through it. The story, I could see potential, and maybe, had I read the whole thing, I would have loved the story, but just the lack of punctuation and the run-on sentences, I just could not handle. They were irking me to no end, so I DNF'd it, but yeah, definitely expected more from this. Question number 8, the perfect blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. And for me, that would have to be the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I do not own any of them. They are on my wish list, so I am hoping, I will get some either for my birthday, which is this month, or Christmas, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, that trilogy definitely had its sweet moments and its bitter moments. It was a ride, to say the least, but as it wrapped up, I was ultimately, I guess, satisfied with how everything happened, how it ended. I might have changed a little bit about it, but ultimately I think I was okay with it. And that is it for the coffee book tag. Thank you so much, Dee, for tagging me. I had such a fun time doing this, and I am personally going to tag anyone who would like to do this tag. I hope you guys have a great week and happy reading.